Every cell has got a membrane, it's selectively permeable. Got that in your brain? Molecules have got to move through it, otherwise the cell would quit. Diffusion, a molecule's way to play chance. Lower concentration is where it would advance. With water's diffusion, we call that osmosis. Through the membrane, watch water potential, a measurement of free energy that water has. Higher concentrations, higher potential. Water travels towards places with lower potential, synonymous with lower concentration. Since the concentration greatly matters, relative concentrations have got a name. If two solutions differ in the amount of solute, compare them together, that would be the root. If one has more solute than the other, the former's hypertonic because it's got more. If one has less solute than the other, the former's hypotonic because it's got less. But what if they were the same? That's a great question, so let's learn the name. They would thus be isotonic, same amount of solute, no net change. Every cell has got a membrane, it's selectively permeable. Got that in your brain? Molecules have got to move through it, otherwise the cell would quit. While we've talked about diffusion, I'm now going to make an illusion. These situations assume small particles plus the fact that the particles have no charge. Larger charge, what does the membrane do? Facilitated diffusion, that's something new. We know that proteins aid with transport. These proteins are employed as a seaport. What we have talked about is called passive transport. It doesn't use ATP to support, but now we'll move on to active transport. As you may guess, it would need ATP. This occurs when molecules go against lower to higher concentrations. It needs a protein and ATP. Needed molecules pass through with glee. Every cell has got a membrane, it's selectively permeable. Got that in your brain? Molecules have got to move through it, otherwise the cell would quit. It would be no surprise to you, I think. With this movement, the cell may grow or shrink. Of course, the cells prefer to stay alive, but in the extreme, it may not thrive. Let's say you've got an animal cell. In a hypotonic solution, water will enter. The cell will swell up and burst. The cell has got more solute, the cell will then lyse. In an isotonic, nothing changes. Water enters and leaves at the same rate, but if it's hypertonic, water from the cell will leave. The cell shrivels, crenation's what the cell will achieve. The story's a bit different if we got a plant cell. In hypotonic again, water will enter, but this time the plant cell's turgid, cell walls holding it together. What a supporter! And in isotonic, things don't change. The plant cell's flaccid, a little bit loose. Water enters and leaves at the same rate. Animal cells get the same experience. How great! In hypertonic, the cell wall keeps its shape, but water leaves from the cytoplasm. The membrane then pulls from the cell wall. Shriveled, we call that plasmolysis. Every cell has got a membrane, it's selectively permeable. Got that in your brain? Molecules have got to move through it, otherwise the cell would quit.